And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the Bloom, episode 317, wrapping up our positional previews for the 2026 fantasy baseball season with relief pitchers, with the closers, all the good, fun stuff and things that revolve around a position that's pushed up all the ADP boards around the NFBC. We'll get to that, talk some news and much more, but don't panic. We will have positional reviews. We'll have pockets of ADP. This will not be the last time we talk about closers, but this is the last preview. Before we get to that, you can find me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom, and my co-host is always on Twitter at RyanBHQ. Ryan Bloomfield, how you doing, my friend?
Kind of wish this was the last time we were talking about closers, because this damn position, every draft I'm in, is just it's a pain. But
you and I really struggled through this last DC with we both played with fire, and it was rough.
All of them. Either feel good about it by taking a closer with your first 4 picks, which is still just bonkers to me, or you wait and you feel bad about it. So it's like, you can't win. But yeah, we will, for the good of the people, we will dive deep into relief pitching tonight. I'm doing well, man. Had a really fun shout out to Britton Allen. Had a really fun live stream, a Patreon show on Monday night. We streamed our Beat the Bloom online championship. Forgot what team I was for a round, so that was cool. But Britton was a good sport.
It
was a good time.
You and Ben were texting me as it happened, and it sounded funny. Actually watching the clip,
it was bad.
Amazing, because it was so good, because Britton couldn't tell if you were messing with him or not.
He had no idea. We had never streamed before, and it was like, you still kind of, is the 5th round, kind of feeling each other out. I was William Contreras. I had him in my queue. I was watching the clock go down. I thought I was the 7th pick, and I thought, for whatever reason, I was team 9 for that round. And so I got all pissed because team 7 timed out and took my guy who was top of my queue, William Contreras.
Ironically,
1 pick later, I realized it was me who timed out, and I actually got William Contreras. So that's where that was one of the highlights, lowlights, however you want to think about it, of the stream. Also a good indication of where my head's at these days. Just anywhere, brains all over the place.
It also shows how hard it is to stream and draft at the same time. A lot of people don't understand. Like, at least you had Britton there to quasi help. Like, I've done so many solo ones, and that's when it gets real rough.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think folks realize how difficult. That's my excuse anyway. It is hard as hell to stream, but it's fun. It makes it more fun.
And speaking of which, I have a Beat the Bubba draft OC on Monday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Still trying to decide where that'll be streamed. It will be streamed. I don't know if it's going to be Patreon and Bench with Bubba. Trying to figure that one out still. But that will be streamed. I do not have a co-host at the moment. Trying to figure that out as well, because I really would rather not do it solo. If I do it solo, it'll probably be Patreon, because at least I can kind of have dead air at that point in time. But there will be a stream taking place that evening. Just not sure exactly how that will all plan out. But Beat the Bubba, this is the really first promotion I've done, and it's on this show. It's a third of the way filled with it just sitting in the lobby. So that thing will fill up this weekend. Not too worried about it. Just be wary that one of the 4 people in that league is Brandon Waddell. So if you want to come fight the guy,
stream it with you.
Yeah, he won't do that. No, he's too focused on looking back and trying to beat my ass again. I don't think
he
gets me every time.
He could do it with his eyes closed, beat you.
Yeah, no, he's money in these 12s. So, but yeah, come join the party Monday night if you guys are interested. Will be streamed somewhere, and if you want to get in, there's 8 spots left as of this exact moment.
What time Monday night? 10?
Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So come join the party.
Okay. All right.
All righty. Last bit of housekeeping as usual. Just once again, a shout out to our friends over at Baseball HQ for donating to Listener League prizes. Listener League invites have been sent out. We're almost full. Like, we're pretty close to
There are 20 remaining. 130 have signed up through the NFBC. 20 remaining. Some with excuses that we're working through some geographic constraints. It'll all work out. So if you have excuses, maybe the 15 or so, Bubba might be showing up at your door pretty soon to get in these leagues. So get in. Get in while you fit in.
Yes, come get in. If you've got the invite, make it happen because I don't want to have to come, check it out and go all full, the No Glory for Old Men or whatever, No Country for Old Men with the
Oh
cattle prod.
God.
We don't need to be doing that around here.
Yeah.
Knocking on the door and zzz, we don't want that.
That
So
was a great movie, man.
a
That was
phenomenal movie. Like they don't make movies like that anymore. There was a good run there for like a 5 to 10 year period of just at least one or two just absolute
that
cinematic
thing.
bangers. They don't make the comedies like they used to anymore because people are okay. I'll stop. But they
Here he
don't make the
goes.
comedies like
Here
they
he
used to
goes,
anymore.
people. Let's go.
Oh, I've been on some old man rants lately. It's been pretty. I'm feeling it. I'm tired. I'm feeling it. So yeah. Plus we're talking closers tonight, so we're good. Back to this is how they love that we're promoting their product right now, and this is the rant I'm going on. So back to Baseball HQ, the wonderful people at Baseball HQ. Since they help us out with the listener league overall prizes, we obviously like to help them out wherever we can, not just by writing for them, but promoting the product that we love to use. And if you want to check out their draft prep package, which basically once you sign up, you get it through April. So you get the rest of the draft season plus the first month of the season. Gets you everything over there. You can use promo code BUBBA26, BUBBA26 for $10 off the draft prep subscription, which is pretty dang awesome. Like I said, it gets you everything you could possibly want on Baseball HQ. Nothing will be hidden from you until the end of April. So enjoy all of it.
Yep.
All right, some news and notes here. When we pre-recorded the show for Tuesday,
this was brutal, wasn't it?
We had an idea that there was a Brendan Donovan situation taking place, not to this extent. Like we didn't know the levels to it. And we just got done talking about Eugenio Suarez signing with the Reds. So Ben Williamson at third base conversation, our Colt Emerson at third base conversation, all that fun stuff we had. Like, an hour or two after we finished that pre-recording on Monday, Brendan Donovan was officially traded to the Seattle Mariners. Williamson went to the Rays. There are other moving pieces. The Cardinals picked up like 4 prospects. We kind of discussed some of them. I remember having to pronounce this. No, that was with someone else I had to pronounce it. I remember doing this, though. So I'll let you have the floor now. Brendan Donovan is on your team, likely leading off. What does that do for you? Because it sounds like he's going to play third base, which blocks that idea as well.
Right. That was the part that I guess didn't anticipate until we saw Ben Williamson was in the trade. And then I totally forgot Donovan used to play a little bit of third base. I think he played there back like 22 and 23, right around where Nolan Arenado left. So we'll see how. Defensively, how that is. It could be. Donovan's flexible. He can play second, go to the outfield. I think Colt Emerson. I still think like the Colt Emerson thing at third base is probably going to happen at some point in 26, but probably not on opening day. So it does seem like Donovan will be the third baseman for fantasy wise. Should play there enough, assuming all goes well in spring training, to pick up in-season eligibility, and then would be second, third outfield. Like that's the nuts for multi-position eligibility. So a little bit of a ding for a worse park for Donovan, but I think adding third base potentially leading off, hitting in a much better lineup. This is all good things for Brendan Donovan.
It's great for Brendan Donovan. I still can't decide if I actually am interested in fantasy. I still don't think so. But it's still going to be pretty good when we talk Brendan Donovan using this fancy ADP tracker that this Ryan Bloomfield put together over the last 7 days. His ADP still only 272. So it's not costing you a ton. As you mentioned, second base, going to gain third base. He'll hit for average. He'll hit 12, 14 home runs. Just a matter of what else does he give you. Should score a ton of runs if he leads off, but it still feels like a 3-category base. And that's just not a thing I want to go to. But again, at 272, that's more in the discussion, I guess. For St. Louis, this basically locks in J.J. Weatherholt at second base, puts Nolan Gorman at third base. On Thursday morning, I recorded my St. Louis Cardinals preview with Matt Thompson, which will come out on Monday for Bench with Bubba. We discussed that situation, that layout. What are your thoughts on this? Because it's like all but locks up the Weatherholt at second, Gorman at third.
We think. I wouldn't quite say locks up Weatherholt second.
It makes it a very, very strong possibility.
He's got to. still think Weatherholt has to, like, if he sucks in spring training, I don't think he's going to start with the gig. But I don't know. The Cardinals, they're obviously punting this entire season. I look forward to your episode with Matt Thompson to get his thoughts on that, because you guys just recorded, so this is all fresh. Gorman, I don't know, useful for power. I always too many strikeouts for me. So I do think that despite the Weatherholt shade, his stock jumps the most out of, I think, anyone in this trade, just because you want at least that shot on opening day, especially with Weatherholt going, I believe, definitely cheaper than Connor Griffin.
266.
Is he cheaper than McGonigal?
He's right in between them.
Okay. Would rank those.
McGonigal's 309. It was 277 for Weatherholt, and Connor Griffin is 193.
Okay. I like Weatherholt the best of that bunch at cost.
Agreed. Fully agree. Full endorse. Pretty sure I took my first Weatherholt share recently, so very much in tune with that one. I like it a lot. Matt makes good cases for JJ Weatherholt. I'll let you guys listen to that to find out, but very strong arguments on that one. I got nothing for the Rays. Ben Williamson, like, they have this guy named Junior Caminero at third base. Like, it feels like Ben Williamson is.
Yeah,
I don't know. Got nothing for that one.
I don't know what the Ben Williamson, I don't think, is really a prospect. So I'm not really sure what's going on there.
I will say that there are days and events when Twitter still reminds me why it has its fastball. Mentioning the Rays in a 3-team trade, there was some great memes and comments, is what I'll say, revolving around the Rays. So just go and search for those if you have a sense of humor like I do. There's been, I believe, 8 3-team trades like in the last 4 or 5 years. The Rays are involved in 7 of them. So just keep that in mind. They're always sitting in the corner watching the show. So next up, Framber Valdez.
This guy, man.
The afternoon.
It's all over the place tonight. It's unbelievable what's going on here.
This
guy is. This is your 4th pod. You've had other stuff going on.
4th pod, had a meeting at
9:30 at night.
Yep, we're on fumes about now. So if I don't slip up more than 3 or 4 times on this show, it's gonna be a miracle. I'm going to have to redo this show tomorrow. But this is what makes us who we are, to be honest. Framber Valdez. It was about 3 or 4 hours, it felt like, after Tarek Skubal showed the Tigers in the arbitration room why they should pay him money. And then all of a sudden, boom, the Tigers signed Framber Valdez to a, $38 million per year deal with deferrals and an opt-out after year 2 to be their potential ace if they didn't have Skubal coming back. Teaser, Skubal gets paid $32 million now at the point of this returning. So you got Skubal and you got Framber as your 1-2, which is pretty good. What are your thoughts here on Framber in Detroit?
I'm a little bit torn. It was starting to get to the point where I was like, okay, Framber, just sign. Like, I was still pretty confident Framber's going to sign with somebody, but you never know with the bean catcher. The longer this goes, the closer this gets to spring training, you just start to worry a little bit. So happy that Framber signed, happy that he signed with a good team, winning team, should give run support, should have a good bullpen, all that. So that is all good park. One of the things I always like to look at when pitchers change is the team defense behind them. I use StatCast, outs above average to do that. And this was an interesting find. The Astros last season were tied for the best infield in terms of outs above average for infield defense behind Framber Valdez. And the Tigers, not so much. They are 22nd in terms of infield defense. The reason I use infield defense is because Framber Valdez gives so many so many ground balls, that the defense behind him does matter. And it's a pretty big downgrade in terms of, at least analytics wise, the defense behind Framber. But then also, I mean, you look at like Gleyber Torres at second base, Torque, I don't know, over at first, Colt Keith, not sure how great a defender he is, Zach McKinstry at shortstop. So a little bit of a defensive downgrade. I think that might hurt Framber a little bit more than most think. Probably not enough for me to downgrade him too much in rankings or whatnot, but just something to think about there.
Yeah, I was wondering, because I know you look at those numbers much quicker than I do. So I was wondering about that. I'll still be, if I liked Framber before, I'll still like him. It won't be a complete game changer.
Yep.
Like I'll reiterate that. But It's a great point to make. Like, yeah, the ballpark will help him because maybe there won't be as many cheapies out to left field when he does give up a fly ball. That's a plus. But to your point, like, are they going to miss a couple easy double plays or something that'll get him out of jams? Potentially.
Which could anger Framber and then snowball.
I saw some great comments again. Sometimes Twitter has its fastball. This is PG. That with all that money that Framber makes, he can buy Dylan Dingler a bulletproof vest.
Very
That's
funny.
pretty good.
Well done. I like that. Michael Cicchini, our resident Tigers fan, making fun of his own squad here. Tigers only like infielders built like Gleyber Torres. So yep. I assume I take that as a negative.
Yes, that is a negative. But no, if you could add an ace, like we already know the team's good. It's a young, talented roster. You need to give Skubal someone to work with. Not saying the others aren't, but now it allows Casey Mize to be a 3 or a 4. It doesn't have to be the 2. Like you just go down that list. It's a great move for a team that was so close last year. Like you watched them, Ryan. They were up against your boys. Like it was a battle in the ALDS. So I like the move. There's not a whole lot to lose, especially if Skubal takes off in the next year or two anyway. So at least you got Framber for another year or two, and you can see where it goes. Out of the what the heck is going on bucket, Carlos Santana signs a 1-year deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like Santana, but what are we doing at this point? He's going to be 40 this year, which again, not age shaming here, but he's almost as old as I am. It moves Pavin Smith to the outfield in a potential platoon. There's just a lot of moving parts there. We'll get to something else that just left town that might ease things up, but I really would love to know what the Diamondbacks are doing with this when you have other options. Like I know Tyler Locklear's going to start the year on the IL likely, but you have first base options. So I'm very confused.
Yeah, my initial thought, I was just surprised. Why not Goldschmidt? If you're going to take Carlos Santana at first base, why not just bring back Goldschmidt for reunion's sake? It's not like there's much of a drop. I mean, Carlos Santana, man, the skill. I mean, he does get on base, so there is a real life value. Relatively gets. It was a 308 OBP last year. It was a 268 OBP in the second half, which is really bad. But traditionally, a patient hitter gets on base. Doesn't matter for us in fantasy because I guess he runs a little. He stole 7 bases last year. That's more than I thought. But like, I don't know. Everything's in decline. Power's decline. Strikeout rate's in decline. Age is in decline. I do not understand this move. Carlos Santana. I mean, if you're in 15-team draft and holds, sure. Pick 635. So going at the end of those, I'll take anybody who's slated for regular playing time at the end of a 15-team draft and hold. But outside of that, not interested. And again, just kind of scratching my head. Why not sign Goldschmidt there? I don't get it.
I honestly didn't even think of it that way, but once you said it, I'm like, yeah, that makes way too much sense. Don't get it at all unless Goldie just wanted some stupid amount of money.
Right, unless, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they probably talked, but
you'd hope so. Unless bridges were severely burned at one point in time. All right, so that's just a weird fallout. Not too excited. I'm just more like I just let Pavin Smith have a season. Is all I really wanted because I believe in Pavin Smith's talent. Stop putting them all over the place. Later on Thursday, Blaze Alexander, who I actually have some TC shares of, was traded to the Baltimore Orioles. Like with the D-backs, it looked like Blaze was going to play third base and keep Jordan Lawler out of town. Now Blaze goes to Baltimore and will strictly be a utility infielder. That's what all the beat writers are like. He's already penciled in for that, as the beat writers say. Because if you go, and this happened when I previewed the Orioles, this just makes it even worse. They have a large platoon situation, like they really do, and it probably also covers like can Westbrook stay healthy for a year questions. So it's a double whammy. Like I'm not saying Blaze is a fantasy god, but he's very serviceable, especially in deeper formats. So we'll start with that. What's your thoughts on Blaze in Baltimore?
I have very few thoughts. I don't think Blaze is all that great, and I haven't drafted him. Unlike
I understood that, but I was talking about Baltimore. Well, I guess with Nolan Arenado,
I mean, he's not going to play. I mean, he's utility guy, so it's not. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not that interested.
Yeah. As John Wilder says, he agrees. My poor Blaze shares are up in flames. But with Nolan Arenado in Arizona, and Jordan Lawler never getting to play, might as well trade Blaze while you can. I think it's a good real life move for the Orioles. Fantasy wise, it really doesn't do a whole heck of a lot for now.
Yeah, I think fantasy wise, it's the Diamondbacks that's the interesting part, right? I think this is a sign that it's put up or shut up time potentially for Jordan Lawler. See what he does this spring. Could be an avenue there. I don't know. They'll put him anywhere. DH. I mean, it's just one less. It's just one less body in the way. We want to see where he goes, and then hopefully Tim the Toolman. One less body there. That's also why I'm pissed about Carlos Santana. Tim Tawa. Just really want him to thrive this year. So I don't know. More moving parts, but I do think the Diamondbacks are trying to light some type of fire with Jordan Lawler and see what they have here this spring. It's been multiple years of frustration.
Let's hope so, because it's been rough, very rough in those parts. IKF Isaiah Kiner-Falefa signs with the Boston Red Sox. We all like to make fun of IKF from time to time, but in reality, he's a very good utility player that can still hit for average. Yep. Again, I say utility because he will come off the bench. So does he have value right now? Probably not. Could he take Romy Gonzalez's spot? Never would surprise me. So what's your thoughts on this IKF deal?
Yeah, I don't mind in a draft and hold as well. Third base, shortstop eligible, can play like literally every position, including catcher. He hasn't played catcher in a long time, but could do it. And I just like those guys that it's going to have a good batting average, going to steal. Most likely IKF. He's only 31. He's not that old.
He's been around forever.
I know. And I don't know, since he can play every position, like injuries are going to happen. So yeah, like IKF right now is a utility guy, but who's to say he can't cobble together a month in June, a month in August when guys are out and make that work. So I am I think in our current draft and hold that we're in, IKF was available when he signed and was very quickly snapped up after that. I think we were in the 40s round. So I was hoping my league mates did not read the news and I would have got him, but I did not. It's a tough league. So I like IKF now with a team. And even though it's not a starting role, those flexible guys, like they're going to fall into playing time. Just like Romy Gonzalez himself is an example of that last year, right? I mean, there was a good solid month and a half where he was pretty damn decent, and late in draft and holds, that's what you need.
Heck, Nate Eaton got a ton of run last year and was discussed in fab streams because he ran and hit for average. So there's going to be a world where he gets some run. I'm not going to be surprised by that. Last bit of news I have here, Miguel Andujar signs with the San Diego Padres. Biggest thing I have out of this when I look at the Padres team, because I haven't done their preview yet, they need to make some more moves, but I don't think they're going to because this team is very shaky towards the bottom of that line. Like Miguel gets signed and he is scheduled to be their DH. That's about all I need to say on that one.
Yeah, he'll probably move around a little bit, but yeah, probably DH. Like that is a tough. I mean, Gavin Sheets isn't that great. Cronenworth is not that great, and Andujar down there. Like, yeah, I agree. The back half of this Padres lineup is pretty tough in terms of Andujar. I always have a soft spot for Miguel Andujar. I love the way he finished with Cincinnati last year. Always, I think, a good bet for batting average. Just wanted to see him sign with a team and have a job. I'm not 100% convinced he's an everyday player, but could be pretty damn close to it, depending what else San Diego does this offseason. So definitely like that move for Andujar. ADP over the last week is 490. That hasn't moved much, so maybe the market hasn't caught up yet. There's earliest he's gone lately is like 468. So mid 400s as someone who's third base outfield eligible. Again, draft and hold only, but I like that.
Yep, I like it as well. There's definitely something to a buying opportunity in your deep formats. All right, enough of that. Hopefully that's some more news. There's still some nice names out there and some trades of swirling to keep things going. Pitchers and catchers report like early next week. So it's giddy up time. And speaking of pitchers, closers, Ryan, that's what we're talking about tonight. What are we looking at with our final preview board of the season?
All right. Same verse as the starters, except I swapped out strikeouts for saves. So we're looking at the top 30 pitchers. This is by the last 7 days ADP. This is the Sir Anthony Dominguez inclusion here, going at pick 177. Wanted to make sure he wasn't on the discussion tonight. So last 7 days ADP. There's enough drafts in NFBC right now where 7 days you get a pretty good chunk still. So that's what we're looking at with the top 30, and then color-coded projected ERA, WHIP, and saves. Almost hesitant to put projected ERA, WHIP on here just because it's relievers. I don't know about, well, I'm pretty sure I know the answer with you, but I don't really look at projections for relievers really, as it's more just like a more subjective or objective, one of those two, non-analytical view at the position. I am very interested in job security, even as much, if maybe not more, than skills. So totally different way of analyzing the position, kind of like the catchers of pitching, right? Where catchers, I'm looking at playing time more than I am at any other position. For relievers, I'm looking at role, team context, etc., as much as anything else. These prices, man, still not used to them. Freaking crazy, aren't they?
It's all about opportunity with it comes to closers. Even like we'll talk about some later on that I remember, like in our chat with me, you and Ben, because you and I are struggling for closers. It's like, yeah, I'm going to push this guy up. I don't want to. I really don't think he's that good, but it's his job. Like, it's his job, and that's really all that matters in the end right now. Did my Angels preview today. That'll drop next week. Robert Stevenson has an ADP outside of the 300, and there's a very good chance he leads that team in saves. That's all I'm going to say. Like,
Old Prepus like Stevenson.
He's a Stevenson fan, and he had good reasons why. So it makes sense, especially when at the very beginning of the show when we make fun of their payroll. He's their fourth highest paid player. So let that one sink in for a minute. $11 million. He's getting almost Fairbanks money. But yeah, so closers it's wild. You mentioned the prices. Like in the first basically 2.5 rounds of a 15, you have the first 5 off the board. Yep. You have 15 off the board in the top 100, essentially. Like, that's just insanity to think about. You have nearly 25. You have 23 off the board by pick 177. Like, it's basically everyone has 2 in a 12-team league. You're going to have 2 relievers by around pick 200, which in the old days that was never a thing. So,
and it does. Yeah. It definitely loosens up after like Ryan Walker at pick 142.
Yes.
It kind of there's not much left in terms of like guys we think have the job and are good. So like, yeah, there's 15 go in the top 130, but then in the next 100 picks, only 4 more closers go. So it is if you want 2 closers that you think are the closers, you got to do it in the first 130 picks, which I have a problem doing personally. Yes. It's the opportunity cost at those picks is for me just tough, and maybe it's just not me adapting to the marketplace, but I have found myself getting one and then just trying to take shots later on at like a Stevenson, Yates. There are some other we'll probably talk those later, but there are a lot of bullpens that are still unsettled, potentially decent teams with bullpens at the end. So there's still a lot of uncertainty with closers, but yeah, man, it's I mean, how often have you taken like a top 5 closer in this top 40? The top 5 of Diaz, Miller, Munoz, Cade Smith, and Yohan Duran.
I'm thinking I've done probably like 9 drafts. I think I might have 1 Miller and 1 Cade Smith. Yeah. So it's very rare. I usually jump in the pond around Chapman, Helsley, Iglesias, and I try to come back with a second, but it doesn't happen very often, and that's when things get murky quick.
Even in so this is draft and hold ADP. So
I pulled up the 12-team fab you have out there, and it's not that skewed.
Exactly. And so I was going into we're talking about the Beat the Bloom online championship draft on Monday night or Wednesday night, whatever night that was. I was thinking closers would go later because that's a fab league, right? Especially a 12-team fab league. Very little price difference. So far, it's early in these fab leagues, but it may not be. These guys may not fall all that much in fab leagues. I think they will a little bit, but I don't know if it will be significant.
Yeah, and that's what makes it tough. Like Edwin Diaz's last 7 days is 3 picks different. Like Munoz is 5 picks different. Like we're talking half round at best in a 12-team fab. where you can actually make moves when guys change jobs and lose jobs and so on and so forth. And it's also tough to I know in DC's, like you say in DC's, or not you, we say in DC's that they get pushed up because you don't have fab. So that's why it is interesting to your point that the fab leagues look pretty similar. I'm hoping that changes just because a lot of the off-season content that I've taken in, and I've hosted people on my Bench with Bubba show and other stuff. So I want to speak for what you've listened to or whatever, but a lot of very smart people have talked about getting saves off the wire, not paying for saves. Like that's been I had Steve O'Swerve on, they documented it. The successful teams in the auction championship didn't pay more than let's say $25 combined on their 2 closers in an auction room. Yeah, let's just have some I'm not going to pull up the AAV if it's on the ADP tracker, and if you spend less than $25 on 2 closers in an auction, it does not feel great.
No, it's pretty bad. I mean, there's 5 closers by themselves or more
exactly. That's why it's I gotta really hone in how the heck I want to make this one happen, or am I leaving the draft with a lot of Stevenson beater? Are we just going to roll the dice on these boys and see what happens? Because that's what it feels like. You have to decide: do you want to roll the dice, see if they can hold the job, and then you can play the waiver wire, or do you want to take some discounted picks elsewhere? Basically, that's a different subject for a different day. But just trying to add to the different formats that closers are up everywhere. It has not changed. So very interesting to look at. What else do you see when you see this board? Because the other reason why it's hard to pay up, but usually they're spread out more, Ryan, is a ton of guys are projected for 25 or more saves. That's just the brass tacks of it. So it's not really they're out there, but obviously it comes with ratios and strikeouts and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And I mean, projecting saves, who the hell knows? I mean, Carlos Estevez led the majors in saves last year. And so I don't even try to and when I'm tracking stats or whatever, I just know in my head I want to have at least one bona fide guy who is the guy, because then you get probably 30 saves, but you might get 45. It just depends, how that team does, how many close games they're in, and that sort of thing. So you can definitely see it though with the save projection. The entire top 15 here is projected to be full-time closers, I will say, all projected for over 25 saves. Jeff Hoffman's the lowest one at 26. Again, you can nitpick these actual save projection numbers. But then if you look at the next 15, the right side of our board for those folks watching, immediately flips from Oregon Duck Green to Rare Steak Red, at Griffin Jacks. And there is nobody outside the top 21 projected for more than 20 saves.
Yeah. So again, you can, and Robert Garcia get 20, but yeah.
So you can quibble on the individual projections, but that is why these closers are going so early, is because there is a finite amount of them that are good and have the job, and it's that age-old supply and demand.
And I figured I might as well pull this up because I forgot that 2 months ago I wrote about closers for the Black Book. So in my intro, I do this every year. I update it. So here's some data points for save quantities, is the way I'll say it. This is why last year you could, they were kind of close for the previous season. I wish I left that up, but I didn't. In 2025, 2 closers had 40 or more saves. 8 closers had 30 or more. That includes the 2 with 40. So keep that in mind. As I add numbers, it includes the previous people. So you had 8 with 30 or more. So still pretty elite tier. But there were 21 pitchers with at least 20 saves. And there were at least 32 pitchers with at least 10 saves. Okay. 215 pitchers recorded at least 1 save last year.
Yeah.
So that's why some will say the waiver wire part, not so much the 215 with 1. But you had 32 pitchers get you at least 10 saves. So if you played it throughout the season just right, you were able to at least chunk it together. Now, did the ratios or strikeouts, how'd that go? Different story, different day. But you could piece it together if you had to, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's just the age of what we're in with splintered bullpens and fluid rolls and all that sort of thing. So there is a path you can cobble together, mid-teen saves guys. Another thing, I mentioned this on the stream in Fab Leagues, especially these 12-teamers. You don't need to. So the typical rule of thumb is, I have 7 starters, 2 closers. It doesn't need to be that way every week in a Fab League. You can start with 1 closer go to 2. And I found in a lot of leagues where they're not as active in the second half in Fab, there are some teams where I finished the season with 4 closers. And so it doesn't need to be a kind of a 2 closer every week type of deal. That's another thing that has worked well for me in the past is be a little light on saves in the first half. Cause I think what you'll find, especially in these shallower leagues, you can make up for it in the second half. Some teams are out of it. There are teams with 4 closers on them at the end of the season that you can make up late in the year.
All righty, let's get to it. We're going to go pockets of 5 like we did with our starting pitchers. So we're not going to go in depth on every closer here, but we'll fly through them, some more so than others. But at the top, your top 5 closers. Now, thank goodness none are going in the first round because that would be just depressing as I'll get up. So it's at least it's middle to back end of round 2, and then it goes. So this also goes to the discussion point, which we've had here and on other shows of KDS. If you want one of the elite closers, you kind of are in the front. Like it's the old adage: if you have one of the top like 5 picks, you get a star hitter, a star closer, and a star pitcher. Like that's how you can do it. Now, if you want to load up on multiple star hitters, you want to be on the back end. That's kind of the reality of this. Another thing to keep in mind. Top 5 closers have ADP 27 through 36. Edwin Diaz, Mason Miller, Andres Munoz, Cade Smith, Johan Duran, and top 5 by ADP, not top 5 on how I would say they were ranked. But those are them: Diaz, Miller, Munoz, Smith, Duran. What are your thoughts on this pairing? Obviously, great closers. They're here for a reason.
Yeah. I can't really. Well, I can probably quibble with one of them. But one thing
don't do it. I know which one you want to quibble with too.
No, I don't think you do.
I hope not.
One thing I will say with these top closers is I probably should have on the board strikeouts like Edwin Diaz, Mason Miller, Cade Smith. How many Ks did Cade Smith?
Cade Smith is Mason Miller to a T. If you look at the stat line,
they can get you triple digit strikeouts, and so the last 2 seasons. So that is actually kind of a hidden advantage in taking this. If you're gonna, that's kind of one of the cases for this cream of the crop. Is you're not totally screwing yourself in volume because if you have a 30 to 40 strikeout edge by one of these 100 strikeout guys over a 70 strikeout guy later on, that's the same difference as a 200 strikeout starter versus 170 strikeout starter. So just know that it does help. It does help these other categories for these first 5 closers. The one who I'm least confident in, and I hate to say this, is Andres Munoz.
Lovely.
You knew I was going to say Cade Smith, but I didn't.
I was wondering, but then when you gave him props for strikeouts, then I immediately thought Munoz because there's volatility there, as long as you're willing to admit it.
Yeah, it's again, and Andres Munoz is probably going to be fine. Again, I'm just looking for chinks in armor at this point with what we're doing with our top 3. Again, this is your 3rd round pick. You're passing up an A starter or typically in my drafts a very good 5 category bat. I just look at the kind of constant decline in velocity for Munoz last year. He was still throwing 98 by the end of the year, but that was down a tick. Double-digit walk rates each of the last 3 seasons for Munoz. Has had some injury problems as well. Not in the last couple seasons, but that has been there. Just some things that make me kind of question the pick, where Edwin Diaz, Mason Miller, some injury issues there. I haven't had Miller yet. Cade Smith and Duran, I don't really have any. I think they're all going to be great. So I'm fine if you take Munoz there. It's just he's my least favorite of the 5.
I agree. He's my least favorite of the 5 as well. All fine picks, though. To your point, not going to argue with any of those. I think Cade Smith could be the number 1 by the time things are all said and done. He's got a Mason Miller profile on a team where Emmanuel Clase used to just rack up 40-plus save seasons. There's a pathway for Cade Smith to just be an absolute juggernaut in the save situation. So I love him. I honestly have him and Mason Miller. I'm redoing my rankings this weekend, so I apologize if this is not how it sits, but going through things, Cade Smith, Mason Miller, I have above Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz is getting a love because he's with the Dodgers, and yes, he's been very, very good. I think those other guys are better, personally, across the 5 categories. And in reality, look at that the Padres team. Cade Smith might get a nod over Mason Miller if you want to talk total saves. I think Mason Miller is the more dynamite pitcher, but Saves is the important part of this category. Also, something to keep in mind. All 5 very good. That's just, again, you want to poke holes, I'll poke holes at some of the elite guys and how I shift them around, but it's also tough to pick up here with them.
Yep.
6 through 10, ADP 43 through 69. So about midway through round 5, they're all gone. David Bednar, Devin Williams, Aroldis Chapman, Josh Hader, Ryan Helsley. So again, midway through round 5, you have 10 closers off the board, folks. And this area is a little trickier for me. I don't mind them, but it's trickier. So where are you going in this pocket?
I have not shopped this pocket very often either. I think that's actually a clean break. We're doing this in groups of 5. Like each one of these closers you could make very strong questions against. David Bednar has just been extremely, yes, he was great at the end of last year. He's the guy. He's been very inconsistent, had back problems in recent seasons. We all know the Devin Williams experience last year. Aroldis Chapman's probably my favorite of this bunch, but you are banking on, I don't want to say a 1-year wonder because Aroldis Chapman has been good for so long, but recently a 1-year wonder. Josh Hader scares the hell out of me. He's a do not draft given the arm issues and that we haven't seen him pitch. And we all know how Ryan Helsley finished last season. So while I'm trying to poke holes in the top 5, you can rip holes in these next 5. And the problem with these next 5 is you're still paying a pick 45 through 70 for him. This is like, I'd rather spend an extra round and get one of the top 5 than shop in this tier.
Not disagreeing with you, I guess. I've shopped a little bit, like in the DC we just finished. I took Chapman
the most.
I took Chapman, and that's because you mentioned in the top 5 the strikeout upside. We obviously know Chapman can be a flamethrower in that regard. Now he can also be a destroyer of whip and everything else under the sun. But when Chapman's on, as we saw last year, still brings the goods as a closer. So Chapman, I can understand the argument for. Bednar, yes, it was ugly towards the end in Pittsburgh. Did look pretty good towards the end of the second half on a good Yankees team. So again, I can see the argument based in the atmosphere of how we have to draft closers now. That's where that's at. Yeah. It just feels dirty taking David Bednar inside the
43rd overall.
Yeah, that's like that seems so nasty. Like it just doesn't seem right. And that's nothing against the Bednar family. That is just isn't cool. Devin Williams is the one I don't have shares of, but I'm kind of wishing I did. Just because we did talk about him a ton on the review show from the season review. Yeah. Everything under the hood, like late in the season, actually looked really good. Like the stuff was still very good. So if there's ever a guy that could bounce back, like I wouldn't be shocked if it's Devin Williams.
Williams, dude, the second half last year, 40% strikeout rate.
Yeah,
4-0. He's awesome.
So yeah, I'm trying to show the flip side of Ryan. Because I agree, I really don't have much in this pocket either. But if I had to make an argument, like Devin might have the highest ceiling in this entire freaking region of 5 guys. Hader, I won't touch. 100% with you. Like it's just a no for me until I hear otherwise. I'm okay being wrong on that one.
Yep.
And Helsley, dude, like what do we do with Helsley? Like he's been good perennially for the Cardinals. That's the hard part. Yeah, the ratios were pretty rough last year before he got traded. Like they were really rough in New York. We know that, but they were rough with St. Louis. But still, like he got 21 saves last year before he was gone. He had 49 the year before, and then kind of in a committee-ish role, 14 and 19. So he's basically, let's say, 20 or more saves in 3 out of 4 seasons. Before last season, he had an ERA of 2.45 or below. Like he's been very, very good. So again, I'm trying to find positives in all of these. Don't love many of them at all. Very tough. Yeah, it's crazy, the market we're in, which we'll probably say about 4 more times. All right, 11 through 15, ADP 78 through 103 again, top 100. Raisel Iglesias, Carlos Estevez, your saves leader from 2025. Pete Fairbanks, who will pitch about 85% of the season potentially. Jeff Hoffman and Emilio Pagan. So have at it, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it keeps getting worse. And again, the biggest thing, we're still shopping in this top 100, as you said. So familiar theme of this episode. I actually have a lot of Raisel Iglesias. I think that's probably my favorite of this group. You want to talk about finishing strong last year. Raisel Iglesias in the second half last year had a 1.47 ERA, a 0.68 whip, and 20 saves, and is back with Atlanta. Like The only thing I have against Iglesias really is that they signed Suarez as the 8th inning guy behind him. So if there's another if there's another rough patch like Raisel Iglesias had in the first half last year when he had a 5.28 ERA, he could lose the job again and not get it back because Robert Suarez is pretty good. So that's the only risk I think with Raisel Iglesias. Other than that, man, I'm pretty confident he's going to be very good and rack up a ton of saves with Atlanta. So that's my favorite pick of this bunch. You mentioned Esteves. Can't do it, man. Look at that red. 4.42 ERA, projected 131. I just think you're spending a top 100 pick on someone who led the league in saves last year, and the skills are nowhere near that good. So that to me has been a no-go. I've ended up with some Fairbanks and Hoffman. Feel good about Fairbanks, I think. But man, again, pick 92. These are foundational picks, and it's I don't know. I keep saying the same thing, but like I guess probably just need to take my medicine and just take one of these guys. If the rest of your league is spending a top 100 pick on these closers, then are they really that expensive if everyone is doing it? It's just the relative
if it is
cost
the market,
of admission.
then
right.
Like, are we really overpaying is the question.
Exactly.
And to the same note you and I are both doing and we're going to continue to do is how rough each pocket is. Maybe it's worth taking the elite guy and then getting a Randy Arozarena in the outfield or something like, it's still a drop off, but I'm trying to play, the pros and cons to this whole pocket here. Yep. If you are going to take that elite closer, which obviously should make you sleep better at night, barring an injury, maybe that's the ticket. Maybe we just, and you and I are done with DC, so we'll never know. But time will tell on that one. Yeah, for me, like the Carlos Estevez thing is the wildest one. 42 saves last year. He's had 26 or more in 3 straight years. I remember writing that up, and that's like he's great for that. But it's the 2.45 ERA, 3.90. But those 2.45 ERAs both season have come with a 4.43 and a 3.57 CRS. So he's definitely overachieved. He's not a massive K to walk. Last year, had a 12% K to walk. Like that is not what you want.
That's bad.
Yeah. Like it's not a closer's K to walk. It's not a good reliever's K to walk, period. So like, hey, he's getting the saves. If that's what you want, kudos. Just be prepared for Lucas Irseg or Matt Strahm or someone to have some chances as that season comes along. I love Iglesias. I agree with the concerns. Hoffman, I've been grabbing just because he's cheap, and I think he actually is better than the overall results last year. I'll buy that. And every time we thought they were going to bring someone in to take his job, they never did this offseason. So it's for now. Again, things can change. It's his world. Same with Emilio Pagan. They brought him back on a 2-year deal. It wasn't a 1-year deal. It was a 2-year deal. So I'm pretty sure it's a 2-year deal for Pagan. And he was great last year. Obviously, he's older. Things can change. They have options in Cincinnati that are good in that bullpen, but it's his job till proven otherwise. And I'll roll with that again at 103. I don't love any of this, as we keep saying, but like Hoffman, Pagan, Iglesias, kind of it's similar to you, but one guy different. Very popular in this world, and usually it's our reliever ones, Ryan, because we are stubborn to take the first ones, and so we start living in the danger zone real quick.
Well, this feels like the sweetest spot, in my opinion, to grab that closer because it is
the next one's mine.
Some of them, yes, I'll give you some of them. But two of them are on the same team. We'll get to.
We're Spider-Man memeing each other.
This is I don't know. It just feels better taking a closer 60 picks later than the top tier and still getting a capital C closer. And that's the other thing with just relievers. It's just they're so volatile year to year. Get me as late as I can in the draft with 2 relievers who have the job, and I will ride the wave of small samples either way. So it's kind of been my outlook on it.
Well, the other problem is if like the longer we wait on closers, it feels like in a DC at least, it feels like you have to take that third closer even sooner. Where if you have like an elite guy, you're like, I could play the game a little longer, if that makes any sense too. Like so you can kind of go that direction as well.
Yeah.
16 through 20, ADP 112 through 130. Insane. Still in the top 10 rounds, folks. Daniel Palencia, Kenley Jansen, Trevor Miguel, Abner Uribe. We did not stutter. Those are teammates, folks. Dennis Santana. So, yes, the 3, I think we're on the same page on. The 2, I think we're on the same page on, Ryan.
Yeah, I think I have the most Palencia of any closer this
I have
year.
a lot of Palencia.
Still, like, I worry about the shoulder issue in September. I don't worry about having the job anymore. I used to worry about Palencia having the job, but the Cubs, for the second off season in a row, did not pay up for a closer, which is fine. So Palencia has the gig. I do worry about the shoulder issues at the end of last year. That's the thing. So price used to be cheaper too, and now it's 112. But from an actual skills perspective and having the job, I think Palencia is fine there. I'm actually, as weird as this sounds, confident in Kenley Jansen. Probably most confident out of anyone in this group is Kenley Jansen. Just
That's fair.
Old, reliable. I guess a report came out today that Detroit is leaning towards Jansen as the primary closer, which I kind of felt like would be all along, given the milestones in Kenley Jansen's career. And he would only, I think, sign somewhere where he would be the capital C closer. So obviously he's an old, but dude, sub 3.7 ERA each of at least the last 5 seasons, just gets it done. And I don't really care too much how ugly it is. Kenley Jansen throws strikes. He still misses bats at an above average clip. And I think he's got one of the longest leashes of anyone in this list, honestly. So Kenley Jansen for me is the target here. I don't mind Dennis Santana either. Some really good ball rates and swinging strikes for Dennis Santana, and has the job for a Pittsburgh team that might not be half bad this year. So I'm fine with Palencia, Jansen, and Santana.
Yeah, I'm much more optimistic on the Pittsburgh team as that preview comes out on Friday, everybody. But
of course,
yeah, busy day today. We're on the same guys. Like, I love Palencia. We loved Palencia last year. We have a soft spot for Palencia because we fabbed him and he was a god to us for a while. And I have no problem going back to that. Yeah, are there injury concerns? Yes. Are we paying a premium? No. I think if there's no injury concerns, why is he be high? He should be higher up. Like, he's better than most of those guys in that last tier, in my opinion. I believe that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that.
Palencia or Kenley?
Palencia. Like, I think he's better than a lot of those guys going ahead of him. I think it's just concerns about health with him.
Yep.
Kenley Jansen, I agree on. This is a guy, like, every year we love him, but usually we get him, like, it feels like 100 picks later. Still love him. Preferably as a reliever too, but the way this works, probably reliever 1. Arciel Iglesias is going in the Kenley fashion as he goes towards the end of his career. But yeah, he's old, reliable. Love Kenley Jansen. Dennis Santana slowly getting to like more and more because I'm accepting the fact that I need a closer. So Dennis Santana fits the mold because I don't see a whole lot to take it away from him in Pittsburgh is the craziest part. Like, they brought Gregory Soto in, but they brought Mason Montgomery via trade, but those are like their only really 2 good lefties. They need them in that bullpen, which I think gives Santana more leash than we thought. So I like that as well. Not touching this Brewers mess. I think Uribe is the much better guy to close, but I think Trevor Miguel needs to close before they can trade him. So I don't trust either situation, so I stay away. But I think Uribe is a better pitcher.
I don't see how it's possible that 2 relievers on the same team with only one, you can only get 1 save per game. There are 2 relievers on the same team going within the top 130 picks. That makes absolutely 0 sense to me.
Well, they're both projected for over 20 saves for one.
I mean, like, even if you pick the right one, so there's a 50-50 chance you hit wrong, and that's a bust at pick 120, which is just brutal. Even if you pick the right one, like, why not just take Kenley Jansen or Palencia or Santana? Like, they're not even that much better than the other guys going in the tier. So even if you pick the right one, it's not like you get that much of a reward. I mean, Trevor Miguel, like, we want to talk about injury issues. That scares me. Abner Uribe doesn't scare me that as much, but again, it's a 50-50 share or shot that he has the job, and I'm just not going to do that with a top 130 pick. I just think, I don't know, that of all the players in this position, I'm scratching my head the most at Trevor Miguel and Abner Uribe going at 117 and 126.
I do respect the fact that people drafting continues to draft them next to each other, though. So that makes it just shows how even confused everybody else is. Like, oh, one's off the board, but I take the other one now because
and you can't take them both. I mean, I guess you could, but you're gonna waste your 7th and 8th round picks on the same bullpen.
On a DC locking up 45 saves, it's not the worst thing actually. That's honestly not the worst.
No,
it sucks because of what you're giving up. For what you're giving up sucks, but I can see the world where because you need fewer saves in a DC. You still need a bunch. Don't get me wrong, but
I don't know. I need to be convinced much more.
Well, let me tell you about this next few regions because the convincing gets more difficult. That's why I'm trying to say.
Well, this is where it dies. Right? This is where everything dies. It was a slow death until this point.
It's like the end of Toy Story 3, folks. You got to say goodbye at some time. Yeah, squeeze it in, right? Just a pinch. Just a pinch. You got excited there. ADP 21 through 25, 142 through 235. So it stretches out now. Stretches out a little bit, which is good. Ryan Walker, not sure how he's projected for 30 saves. Griffin Jacks, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Robert Suarez, Riley O'Brien. So we've entered a world where there's Ryan Walker, there's Griffin Jacks, who may be the main man. There's a backup, an 8th inning arm. So yeah, business is picking up. What do you got here?
Sure. You're the Ryan Walker guy, so I'll defer to you on that one. Yeah, this is tough. Sir Anthony Dominguez is my favorite one because we know he has the job and it's pick 177. I think that's actually relatively a very good buy compared to the rest of the group. And you can say, oh, Sir Anthony Dominguez isn't that great. I don't really care at 177. Give me the guy who has the job. The team has come out and said that Sir Anthony has the job. Sir Anthony's not even that bad of a pitcher. He's not great, but I think he can hold the job. And I think the White Sox are going to be half decent this year. So, I would take him over Griffin Jacks. I mean, do we know Griffin Jacks is the closer in Tampa? I don't think so. Do we know Robert?
You like Uceta a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I took Uceta like 4 rounds after Griffin Jacks in our current draft and hold. I don't know what Tampa's going to do. Yeah. So just give me the cheaper guy and we'll figure it out. But I don't get the Jacks price. Jacks is good enough to where I can see the upside, right? Jacks is good enough where if Tampa names Jacks the guy, that could be a top 10 closer. Griffin Jacks is really good. So I actually, unlike Miguel and Uribe, I can see at least the ceiling in that pick. And then there's just a massive drop in ADP. Robert Suarez and Riley O'Brien, like major question marks, but they're going outside the top 200. So I don't know. I think the question in this tier is Ryan Walker. He's going pick 142, and I don't think you're convinced he's worth that.
I'm not, but then the more I look at the rest of the regions here, he's not that far off of Dennis Santana either. Like if Ryan Walker can find some of that swing and miss from a couple of years ago, he's really, really good. Really good. And the biggest thing, I didn't like him early in draft season. I still don't love him, but they haven't put anybody behind him that scares me to take his job. I really thought they were in the bidding for a Fairbanks or a.
That's the
yeah. I thought they were going to add somebody. They didn't add anybody. Like literally looking at the chart right now, the depth charts. You have Jose Buto, okay, Eric Miller, Joel Peguero, Gregory Santos. It's rough. It's not great. So it's really Walker's job to lose. It just depends how much leash he has. But if he's half decent, I don't see how he loses the job this season, and that could lead to 30 saves. So
and I think, that makes sense to me. And I think given that there are lack of other options, Bubba, it does make sense. You can handcuff Walker with this Joel Peguero guy. I don't know much about him at all, but seems to be the popular plan B amongst bullpen analysts for San Francisco. I have no idea, but doesn't cost anything. So you can grab a couple backup options in San Francisco. If Walker falters, you're right. Who else are they bringing in to take that job? I don't see it.
You look at a rookie manager too, he's going to want to point to the guy that's got experience closing, and that's Walker in that bullpen. No one else has any.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said about that as well. So we'll see. I don't love the idea. I really wanted them to get somebody, but at least he's got if he can just somehow find what worked 2 years ago, that'd be awesome. Like Dominguez, to your point, Riley O'Brien is growing on me. I took him in the DC we're in now. It's one of those, we're talking pick 235. So we have really dropped down. We're we're outside the top 10, everybody, which is amazing. Top 10 rounds. He was serviceable last year. The Cardinals like his stuff. What I did here today, The Cardinals' next trade might involve JoJo Romero. They've been shopping him for like a month. So
Well,
if
that
that
would help
happens,
Riley O'Brien.
yeah, I said if that happens, Riley O'Brien's price is going to go up to like the Ryan Walker area. Like, because now you have a guy that pretty much has a job. So,
Yeah.
I kind of liked him already, and then hearing the potential JoJo trade stuff, and still potential, who knows what happens. But the Cardinals have traded pretty much everyone they've said they're going to trade so far. So, like, let's just take that one for what it's worth. Riley O'Brien becomes more and more interesting to me as these draft season goes along.
Big ground ball guy, pretty much ended last year with the job. So you like that. I do. And again, I haven't listened to your Cardinals preview yet.
It's not out yet, so no one else has.
I mean, they could be so bad that there may only be like 30 save opportunities the entire season. Like it could be like a Rockies situation. Like the Cardinals like look truly awful on paper this year.
But the bright side is he's hopefully your second, if not third closer.
And
that's fine.
I know. Yeah. I shouldn't hate too much on Riley O'Brien at 235. I do. I agree. I think the pick is good. It's just your save ceiling is pretty low there. Yep. Cardinals are going to be really bad.
They're going to be horrible. Like, listen to the show on Monday, folks. That's all I got to say.
I hope Thompson's doing well outside of
he's doing great. He's doing great. He wraps up the show saying that, I'm going to watch anyways, but it's something I'm never used to seeing with this team. So that's kind of the gist of it. I won't speak for him. Please listen to the show. All right, 26 through 30. Edwin, you set the Brian Abreu, Robert Garcia, Clayton Beeter, Will Vest. There's only two guys in this range that look like they're the closers. Everyone else is setup men.
Yeah. Who are the closers?
Robert Garcia and Clayton Beeter.
Yeah, I guess. I don't even know if Garcia is the closer.
I hope not, but
I don't think we know.
For now, I think Garcia is the closer because he had the job last year, and it's the only other options really for me is Alexis Diaz is the one I kind of like. Chris Martin, he's old and he's never really ran with the closing gig. He's always been better in the eighth, so it feels like it's a Garcia Diaz thing. Eventually, I'd like it to be Teodo, or we even get Mark Church out of AAA. Both horrific command last year in small samples, but both are electric factories that could close out ball games. So I think Texas will be a revolving door all year, partly why Garcia's ADP is 265.
Garcia's a lefty. I don't know how many lefties they have in the pen in Texas. I think Texas will be good enough that this is –
yes.
I mean, there will be saves to be had there. Really nice ball rate and swinging strike for Robert Garcia last year to kind of support that. Some of that 295 ERA. I don't know. Yeah, the more I look at the skills, I think Garcia's
just one other lefty.
One other lefty. So, I mean, that does – I don't know. They could mix and match.
Yep.
But I don't know. At 265, that's certainly a dart worth throwing. I think Clayton Beeter as well. Going pick 324 for the Nats. Like I think I would throw a dart there as well. Like the Nats could be pretty awful too, but
I jumped him a few rounds in the draft we were in. Ratios aren't great in his cups of coffee, even in the minors, but he strikes out the farm. We're talking 30% plus K rate. The walk rates are also close to 17 to 20%. So that'll sting things. So the ratios are ugly with Clayton Beeter, but he's got that. That's like the new closing profile. He's only be 27. So I'm not saying the Nats are going to fix him by any means, but that's the profile you see with a lot of these teams that are searching for a closer. Do you have swing and miss? He has that. Can we try to find lightning in the bottle? Like that's a Camilo Duvall profile, honestly. Duvall had maybe a little better command, but I've watched a lot of Duvall, and there was nights he had no clue where that ball was going, but neither did the hitter sometimes. So it was just that's what you're looking for with some of these guys. Anything else in this range?
The one pick I don't get is
Will Vest.
Brian Abreu.
No, that's if you think Hader's hurt.
Yeah, that's really all it is. I think you can take Hader and then take Abreu, but I don't know. Pick 256, and at least in draft and holds, it's a pretty valuable pick to have on an eighth inning guy. So that's a tough one for me. Though, right, if Hader is actually hurt and doesn't look good this spring, that could be a top 10 closer. Brian Abreu going to pick 256 as well. So I like Brian Abreu much more in fab leagues where if Hader makes it through spring training, fine, you can just drop him and move on. But in draft and hold, you're stuck with them all year. You could be stuck with an eighth inning guy yet again there.
Yeah, I guess it also comes down like we're talking risk rewards with so many of these. Would you rather take a Brian or Brady risk reward at 256 or a David Bednar at 43? Like
Yeah.
you got to weigh that out also, which is partly what I'm seeing there.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on this board before we do some listener questions and comments?
No, I think Take Your Medicine's probably be the show title if we did show titles for this. It's just you gotta pay to dance, and it's interesting. There's a comment in the chat from Adam. Figure bring it up now. He says, "I never do this, but this list at cost sure makes it more tempting than most years to punt saves and draft and just fab it. At least in standalone leagues, not overall contests. It is tempting. I agree. I typically never enter a draft trying to punt something though. It's just too hard to make up the other 9 categories.
Yeah, because I even tell myself that like when we did our our DC auction or even our meatball, it's like, oh, it's standalone leagues. We can just punt saves. I still freaking buy into it. So
I still think like you need to give yourself a shot, but
Yeah,
it's
still
certainly, I mean, Adam makes it really like just given the prices of this, like you are getting an extra very good starter and an extra really good hitter by potentially punting saves, or not even punting, but take 4 shots late in the draft on Clayton Beater, on Robert Garcia, on who the hell else? Justin Sterner, I
Robert
guess we could
Stevenson.
Robert Stevenson, Kirby Yates. Like there are enough bullpens. Maybe that's a segue for this because it's outside the top 30 relievers. There are enough teams with unsettled bullpens that I think there's going to be a good amount of saves drafted or fabbed drafted outside the top 30.
Let's just do this real quick, and I'm going to mention a team and I'll mention some closers. And which one would you pick? So, Angels at Stevenson, Yates, Romano. Which one? Which one do you want?
I'm going to take Yates
because I'm just going through the teams we didn't talk about. Like Twins, Topa, Thunderbird, Cole Sands.
0.
Yeah, if it's Topa, if anything, but I've always liked Topa. I don't like any of them.
But like, yeah, you could.
The more I
get
dug into
Topa
Topa's profile, it's bad.
Yeah.
All right, we talked the Rays. We've mentioned Jackson. You said the A's. We didn't talk about any of them. Leiter, Hogan, Harris, Sterner.
Right. Our current draft and hold. So my closer 1 is Kenley, and then I did Uceta, and then I took Leiter and Sterner, hoping to get the A's are going to generate save opportunities. So I like that pen. We just don't know who it's going to be.
I took Hogan Harris. I wanted to take Leiter after that, and you grabbed him. So
you took Hollywood Hogan.
Yep, I wanted Leiter afterwards. I was trying to play the ADP game, and you got him. Arizona, Ginkel or South Frank?
I would say Ginkel.
I'd say Ginkel too, but it's
but again up for grabs. Arizona's going to win games.
Yep. Colorado, you going Victor Vodnik? I feel like he's the dude, but it's
Victor Vodnik has the job. He's a ground ball guy. You can get saves there. I would not recommend.
They're all late. These are all late.
These are all exactly. But no, this is a good exercise. Like these guys are available late.
Other ones we did not mention. We mentioned the car. Oh, we mentioned everybody else. Okay, so that's we at least highlighted the main closers in every other team. But so that's at least what 6-7 teams we didn't even discuss.
Yep, so. And maybe not all of them. Maybe some of them do a share, but I would imagine maybe half of them have a primary guy. And if you hit that either in fab or late in a draft, that's the good stuff. So if my biggest. What I'm watching in spring training at this position, I'm not even caring about the top guys. We know they're all good. We know they have jobs. Just really monitor those kind of 6-7 bullpens we just talked about.
Agreed. Okay, some Discord questions here. Keegan says, "Why do we play with saves? This position is so frustrating." Good way to start things off.
Yeah, we gotta blame our forefathers, I guess.
Yes. Kalen says, or Callan says, "Who is the last reliever you'd be comfortable with as your RP1?"
As my RP1, I would say Dennis Santana, Ryan Walker. And comfortable. I would say there's different levels of comfort. If I want to go if I want to get one that I know is going to be good, I would probably say Raisel Iglesias at 80 would be the last one.
Yes, agreed. That's why I was going to push that up there. Like, if worse came to worse, a Palencia Jansen I could live with, but I'd really prefer that to be my RP2.
Yeah, I agree with that. But again, there's only so many picks you can make in the first 8 rounds.
There's 14 other people trying to get them too. Andy Splinter says, "How are you both handling RP2? Does that change depending on whether it's a fab league or draft and hold?"
For me, it would depend on that because I do think you can, for that reason that we just talked about, I think you will be able to fab some saves this year, just given the state of some of these bullpens. So in a fab league, I'm more willing to wait on my RP2, and especially like in these early fab leagues, when you're building out reserves, take 3 closers in reserves, right? If none of them work out, you drop them and you're churning that spot anyway. So I think it's actually a pretty nice strategy. Both Britton and I were doing that in the OC on earlier this week. Just load up on a number of those names that we just mentioned in those unsettled bullpens. If it works out, it's awesome. If not, just drop and move on.
Agreed. Matt says, rank in terms of most likely to lose their job: Palencia, Santana, Walker, Hoffman, Pagan. Why are you wishing this devil magic on us?
It's tough. Most likely to lose their job, I would say Palencia due to injury, and then Hoffman, given the way he ended, and then Walker, but there's really no alternatives, and Santana, then Pagan.
Wow, I have Pagan as my first one to lose his job.
Really?
Just because he hasn't really done it that often in his career. He's old, and the Reds have actually some decent options there if you want to.
I just think he was really good last year.
I think he's really good too. I don't think he's going to lose his job, but this is just if we think who could.
Yeah.
I'm going with Pagan. Then I agree with Palencia because the shoulder still is terrifying. Then it's that Hoffman Walker. Like neither team backed him up with anybody. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We saw Hoffman go off the rails, and they stuck with him last year.
If anything, they let Dominguez walk. They didn't re-sign Dominguez. So
yeah, I go Pagan, Palencia, Walker, Hoffman, Santana. But yeah, it's all RP2s. Anything can happen.
Anthony in the chat says Santillan could replace Pagan, kind of to your.
I like Santillan, and then the other one that I like, they have a couple of Santillan's good. I like Ashcraft, just took him in our draft, and they have
after long deliberations.
I have multiple shares of him, so let's not just completely run that one down the road the wrong way. But what was the other name that was mentioned? Pierce Johnson has history. Kiner-Falefa, like they have guys. That's what I'm trying to like. They have past experience / good arms in that bullpen. Adam W says, "Would you take a shot at one of the Brewers' relief pitchers at cost?"
No, that's Trevor McGill at 117, Abner Uribe 126.
And I'm okay being wrong when it happens.
Sure.
I can't take the risk.
Yep.
Matt says, "I dropped Bednar early last year and it crushed me. Thoughts on appropriate time for him to cut bait?" You can't let that crush you because if you dropped him the year before, you were sitting just fine. It's the old adage: if you didn't make at least one drop, you regret you weren't playing the game, right?
Yeah, it's tough because did Bednar go to the minors?
He went to the minors, then he came back, pitched okay, got traded to the Yankees, didn't even have the job initially. Duvall blew it, and then Bednar took it.
Right.
So like a lot had to change the path of history there.
I think process-wise, it's just hard to hold on to. You would have got burned by Raisel Iglesias last year too if you dropped Raisel Iglesias when he lost the role. But it's just hard to hold on to a closer who just lost their job. More often than not, if they get the job back, it's a while down the road, especially if they get sent to the minors.
Yeah, the minors things, that's when you have to just move along on that one.
Yeah, I think I would do it again.
TDK says, "Don't you see any value in Brian Abreu at ADP besides others' potential injury?" I see the value, assuming Hader's health. He's because like Ryan said, he'd be a top 10 closer in that case. It's an expensive pick, but yeah, what else you take? Like you're fighting over Robert Garcia, Beater, Vest. You said like I like Beater more than most, but it's volatile. Like I think Abreu, and even the projections say he'll have the best ratios in the group. Probably has the most strikeouts in the group. Just comes down to saves, which you need as a closer, yes, but he's that good. Like as Anthony says, Abreu's a 100K guy.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's just tough to not get saves from.
The whole point is to have saves from your closer. So I get it. That's what makes it very, very difficult.
King of this category. I would rather Robert Garcia or Clayton Beeter. But Clayton Beeter's going. Yes, he's 2 relievers behind Brian Abreu on this list, but he's also 70 picks later. So
yeah, true. Very, very true. Steve Brunn says everyone's favorite question: who is this year's Aroldis Chapman?
That's a good question. So someone who we think has the job, right? Because last year at this time, trying to think back, I don't even know if we knew Chapman had the job. But someone who could be good enough to really propel, I would say Palencia. I think Palencia is that good. He's just got to stay healthy.
Yeah, Palencia is that good to stay healthy. Like I want to say Abner Uribe.
Yeah, that's what Anthony says. Abner Uribe is this year's. Maybe that is a better one because there was some role obscurity there, and a good Abner Uribe could be really good. That's probably a good one.
All right. Brendan says, are you attacking relief pitchers differently this year than in the past? Seems like skilled closers with secure jobs are in short supply.
That is correct. I'm not really attacking it differently. It just pains me to do it.
The quality is different.
Year. Yeah.
The quality is different where I'm attacking it. SMMS 79 says, does Kenley still have the skills to keep his job? We both think so.
Yes, I agree.
Jim Poppin says, is it a good idea to consume a large number of Busch Lights when you are doing draft prep? Don't at me for drafting Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn. He has a comeback in him. Agreed. Wild Thing's great.
Would not advise Busch Lights for your draft prep, but
I don't judge.
To each their own. I don't judge at all. Whatever you want to do.
I was at a great dive bar in Visalia Tuesday night, and I saw a little bit of everything that evening. So there was no judgment getting thrown around there. It brought back memories. It was a great freaking night. I forgot I was 42, but it was awesome. R. Sands Richard says, how does strategy change in a 15-team fab league? Which barrels do you feel more comfortable dipping into, knowing you can potentially fab saves?
I don't think my strategy changes all that much in a 15-teamer, other than in a fab league, other than potentially waiting on my second closer. I still want to take my medicine and get at least one, ideally two, but you can take more shots in a fab league. It's just fab leagues are so frustrating trying to speculate on saves. It's so brutal.
Yeah, you need at least one lockdown guy. You just have to, because especially in 15s, it's even harder to fab than a 15. It feels like, at least that's my thoughts.
Yes.
So you really need to have that guy in that scenario.
Agreed.
Smokey Joe says, rank these handcuffs in order of value if you have the closer: Brian Abreu, Robert Suarez, Lucas Irseg.
Ooh, in order of value. I would say Brian Abreu first, in that order. Brian Abreu, then Robert Suarez, then Lucas Irseg. I think Brian Abreu, we've talked about him, but yeah, if he takes over the job, could be top 10 guy. Robert Suarez, I think Iglesias still has to lose the job, but if Suarez takes over, he'd be really good. I think Irseg probably has the best chance of taking over for Estevez, but Irseg comes with a lot of question marks himself, both skills and injury. So I'm not too high on Irseg himself.
Yeah, I like the same order as well. Also, do you prefer to draft handcuffs or other specs in that range?
That's a good question. What do you think? So, I mean, the question is, do you handcuff someone in the same pen as your current closer, or do you just kind of scatter shot and hope for the best at other pens? I do a little bit of both.
I do a little bit of both. I usually do more so of it when we talk about those teams that aren't locked into guys that have like three options. I might go heavier there. Like Abreu, I like for the hater deal, but at the same time, like Robert Suarez, am I taking him as my second reliever? Like, you better already have two closers if he's coming in at 214, and then you're kind of playing with fire again. So
yeah,
it's real tricky because of where those guys are going. Like Lucas Irseg isn't on this list. I would 100% try to get like a Lucas Irseg or a Matt Strahm if I drafted Carlos Estevez.
Yeah,
that would be, losing a DC, something I'd definitely keep my eyes on.
Like in this current DC, or I guess it's over now, the 50th round. I started with Kenley. My second one was Uceta, so Tampa. Then I went Kirby Yates, the Angels. Then I went Justin Sterner for the Athletics. Then I went Phil Maton behind Palencia for the Cubs, and then Mark Leiter Jr. for the Athletics. So I've got my finger in like 5 different bullpens. Who knows if it'll work?
That is a bit of work. So you have it spread out for you. Back to the Discord. BP says not to give away info from the forecaster, but that blurb about Robert Suarez's splits at Petco and on the road is concerning. I'm in 2 Solds leagues, and I thought he was in a great spot. Thoughts?
I still think he is. I think not to go against the 40. I just reliever small samples is if you try and split that even more with home road, maybe it's a longer sample, but I'm not too worried about Suarez.
And then Vulcan Duck says, who are you going with in the Rays bullpen at their current cost?
Uceta.
Griffin Jack's Uceta. Yeah, it's Uceta for me. And I've always been a gigantic Griffin Jack's fans, but at a 164 ADP, I'll take the skills of Uceta at 80 picks later.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just in a vacuum I'd take Jax, but this price. There's also Garrett Clevenger,
who's actually sneaky good too, but
super cheap.
The one thing I always tell myself is just pick one. Like this, now again, a lot can be proven different. This feels like one I don't want to handcuff because I will never forget. Colette always did say it, even when we made fun of Fairbanks for only having like 22 saves every year or whatever. They didn't platoon. Cash did not platoon his closers. Fairbanks would get hurt, and then when Fairbanks would come back, he'd take the job back. Cash rarely ever does a closing platoon. He will pick a guy. You just got to figure out which one it is, essentially. Just keep that in mind because, like, there's other teams where you're sitting there saying, let's play the game. This one might look like a game, but unless something changed this year, Cash sticks to his guns. So, something to think about.
Yep.
All right, final thoughts about the most overpriced position in all of fantasy baseball.
Yeah. I hope we weren't too much of a broken record tonight, but I don't know. Hopefully we kind of gave you at least some spots to pick and choose and go there, or just say, screw it. Use your 3rd round pick on a great closer and sleep well at night. Yeah. I'd like to sleep well at night. So that's probably the best. That's probably the best option.
If I was still drafting DCs, I'd probably decide to go early and see what happens. But I also usually drafted at the back end, so I really didn't have that chance. Unless I
they're all gone after your first 2 picks.
Yeah, so I kind of changed the philosophy at that point as well because I wasn't taking Hader and those other guys. So yeah, it was tricky, very, very tricky. But I guess the other take home from this, as much as we like to keep saying it's like about overpriced position, is you made a great comment earlier that really stuck with me and made me think everyone should probably change their mind is if they're all priced up by everybody, is it really overpriced? Yeah. And that I think is the real question to go into is if this is the market, it might be inflated. It's like a real life situation, but it's the market and you have to accept, are we going to do this or not? Like that's just how
it's not like it's not Yohan Duran at pick 36. That sounds expensive, but when you put it Yohan Duran over, but 50 picks more expensive than Carlos Esteves, I'm taking Duran every single time.
Exactly. So I think it's more of we have to start looking at it in a bubble of this is the market. Yeah. Does it suck? But you go with it. Like in California, gas is like all over $4. The only place in the country. We still drive everywhere because we have to. Like, it's just like you got to pick your battles. Picking an early closer might be the battle. I know it's probably not the perfect 1-to-1, but just throwing ideas out there of what a market inflation can do.
Yep.
So, all right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope it was entertaining for you, and I'm glad I reined it in from the start for you guys. But we'll be back with you guys next week with some different shows. Previews are done. We'll get a couple little fun things out of the way.
Yeah.
And then when pockets of ADP will be here before you know it. And we'll get that rolling for you. Listener League streams start up in about a week. So a lot of great stuff there as well. And I'll be streaming my Beat Bubba OC on Monday night, just not sure where. So I'll mention it in the Discord or find me on Twitter. We'll figure it out one way or another. But until then, check out Ryan on Twitter at RyanBHQ, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom. I'm at BDentric. And for now, episode 317 of the books. Catch y'all next time.